All right, Jayne. So here we go. We've got the real estate news from the past week. We're going to talk about Brian Buffini's bold 2021 predictions. So I'll start this off with just kind of reading a few little statements that he kind of said. And also, just so you guys know, in the show notes, we will have a link to watch the entire video of Brian Buffini. And it's really important to kind of check this out every year. He does it every single year. And so far, he's been really good at predicting a few things that happen in the market. So let's just get into this, Jayne, if you're ready, and let's dissect it just a little bit, and we'll give a little bit of our opinion.
Ready.
If you have something you want to say, go ahead and drop it in the comments as well as we go through this. We want participation and we want to have some fun. So here it is. So he said, this has been a strange year, but there has been a lot of good things in this year too, said Brian Buffini, founder and chairman of Buffini & Company, at this year's Bold Predictions 2021 Real Estate Market Outlook, which was held as a virtual webcast on December 8th. He was also joined by Lawrence Yun, which is a Chief Economic Advisor with the National Association of Realtors. We mention him a lot kind of on this show as well as a company. We talk about kind of what he's been going through, especially this year. We've been really kind of diving in and learning more about what he's doing. So I listened to this last year. And I will say he predicted a lot of the things that happened in this market. Now, he did not predict a pandemic. That was not predicted. But what he did predict is a big...
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, no one saw that coming. I don't think you could predict that at all.
No.
So it's unfortunate, but on the real estate side of things, he did predict pretty well. I mean, he got a lot of things right. He was talking about how it's going to be a shortage of real estate for sale and what that was going to look like, and then what would happen to the cost of building homes, that they would increase. So he did start talking about how that's going to happen. He kind of predicted to be a little bit earlier in the year than towards the end, so that was a factor, but he overwhelmingly kind of got it right.
Yeah,
you got anything to add to that, Jayne?
I was just going to say, I know I've looked at his predictions over the years, and he really is, in the forefront of the people that everyone turns to kind of, hear what he has to say. And he is a lot of times spot on.
Yeah, he has been. It's pretty cool to watch him. And he does it every year. He releases a video, and then he actually releases a bunch of content in a PDF form and breaks all this kind of stuff down. Again, we'll leave that in the show notes of this. So one of the things that did come up was that home sales would increase. He did predict that home sales would increase. And then more in particular, Yun said this. He said the housing market has shown remarkable resiliency in 2020, and 2020 is certainly a year of surprise on many fronts. So, I mean, he was very confident that the virus shutdown that we went through this year, when we actually shut down everything, he didn't say it was really going to be that big of a recession. He didn't think it was going to be like a recession. He really more or less perceived it as a temporary hold, a reset. And then over a little bit of time, it began to rebound back and get right back to it. So that's kind of what he went with that.
Adam,
Jayne,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know
fine.
if you can hear me, but I lost sound for you.
Oh, did you? Yep, I can hear you. No audio. That's all right. That's a part of being live, right?
Somebody comment in the chat and make sure that everyone else is still hearing both of us. Okay,
yeah, just let us know in the comments there if you can hear both of us. Jayne still can't hear us. Jayne, you might just want to log out and come back in. That's perfectly fine. You can try doing that. So I'll continue on. If we can get Jayne back in here, good old technical issues, nothing like that. So it's normal. Nikki did say she can hear us both, so that's good. Thank you, Nikki. So, for the most part, I would agree with that last statement. If you were in this real estate industry back in 2008 and 2009, that time was a little bit more rough, but we had a lot of like subprime lending going on, a lot of less restrictions on loans and things like that. So, really, Yun really did predict that it wasn't going to be exactly the same. He kind of felt like it was more or less a temporary hold, and then once that market opened back up, we would get busy again, and that's held true. I think that's absolutely true. I think most agents would agree with that. So. He went on to say at the beginning of this, at the very beginning of the interview that Brian Buffini had with Lawrence Yun, he said this. He said that he could see homes increase another 5 to 10% in 2021, and with the Fed saying they want to keep the interest rate where it is for another 3 years or so. And I think that's what's happening. Matter of fact, we saw just a reduction in the interest rate too. It went down to 2.67 this week. So we saw another reduction in the interest rate. So that's going to spur more activity. So that's good. So Young went on to say this: because of work from home flexibility, people are suddenly realizing they are not content and are looking for a larger home with possibly an office space, said Young. Agents should contact their prior clients, as they may be willing to hear what you have to say, even if they were not considering buying or selling before the pandemic. So I'll add, I think this is a very good point. Because in all honesty, my advice to the agents in 2020 would be this, is to contact your database, your past sphere of influence, because the home that they're in now might not be working for them anymore. And I would begin asking them that question. Hey, is this home that I sold you, 2 years ago, is this still working for what you need right now? So I would definitely check and see if that's the case. So that's a good point to kind of get back into that. He went on to say that there are 3 things that will affect the market. Now, this is what Brian Buffini kind of went on to say. So he said that one would be decentralization. People are moving into the suburbs and beyond. One of the greatest indicators is what renters are doing. So I think that's absolutely true. They're looking for more space. So again, I think this is going to be a referral-based business as well. Going back to the people that you see that you sold the home to, and getting back in front of them and trying to generate contacts and all of that, I think that would be a very good thing to do. And then work on a referral-based business. Try to reach out and build some relationships across the aisle with agents 1 to 2 hours away from where you live, and see if they're wanting to move into your area. So that's beginning to happen. The change of face. The number 2 that he said was the changing face of relocation. So remote workers are on the move. Between 14 and 23 million plan to relocate due to working remote. So a lot of moving, a lot of shifting going on. So again, this emphasizes the referral-based business. So we definitely need to see and address the referral-based business. Upsizing. So this is another one. This is number 3. This is the number 3 point that he made. Upsizing. People want high-speed internet. Kids need classrooms, more rooms, etc. We're going to have even more competition in the move-up market. So again, referral-based business. I really think, back a few days ago or a few months ago, we were talking about tiny homes and minimization and all these type of things. Well, that's so much not the trend that we're beginning to see. We're starting to see people buy a bigger type home that accommodates more avenues of their life because they're working from home. They're teaching their kids from home. Now, how long will that last? I don't know, but a lot of companies are okay with letting their employees stay at home and work. So we'll see how that works. I think it's going to be pretty fascinating to see how this all pans out over 2021. So again, you can check out these notes inside of the show notes when we'll post those, when we post this video as a separate video, and we'll give a link back to Brian Buffini's as well.